Prime Minister Stewart reacts to the recent ruling by the CCJ against Barbados. The opposition claims government is under serious pressure to meet its commitments. And in sports, UWI missed out on the league but takes the T20 crown.
Credible, balanced, committed. Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Michelle Arthur with this Monday, October 14th edition of the CBC Evening News, and we do apologize for some technical issues that we're having. Prime Minister Stewart has some concerns about what is implied by the term hassle-free travel. The Prime Minister made a comment as he reflected on the Caribbean Court of Justice recent Shanique Myrie ruling during a Democratic Labour Party St. Philip branch meeting. He made it clear that Barbados respects the CCJ ruling and urged Barbadians to do the same, but insisted that Barbados' national security must never be compromised.
Prime Minister Stewart has some concern about what is implied by the term hassle-free travel. The Prime Minister made the comment as he reflected on the Caribbean Court of Justice's recent Shanique Myrie ruling during a Democratic Labour Party St. Philip branch meeting. He made it clear that Barbados respects the CCJ's ruling and urged Barbadians to do the same, but insisted that Barbados' national security must never be compromised.
I want to make sure that this expression, hassle-free travel, is not interpreted so elastically that people can walk through the airport without anybody asking them anything because you're frightened that they can put you in court. People will put you in court anyhow. It happens locally, and we can't stop that. But protect your country's national security. That is what border officials are there to do.
The Prime Minister said when Barbados agreed to the automatic 6-month stay in 2007, it was under the previous administration, and he always had concerns about it. Mr. Stewart said when he was Attorney General, he raised the issue with late Prime Minister David Thompson, who brought it up at the level of the heads of government. The Prime Minister expressed the view that some persons who come here and want to stay for automatic 6 months do not always have good intentions.
Persons who are going to want to come here and stay are persons who are not working, and of course there is that criminal element that has been stalking the Caribbean and has been causing us no end of problems. If I'm right on that, and I'm certain that I'm right on that, what is meant by hassle-free travel?
Prime Minister Stewart also revealed that only last week he met with immigration officers and assured them that they have government's full support. Mr. Stewart advised them to continue asking whatever questions need to be asked at Barbados' ports of entry. The Prime Minister also spoke about a personal experience where he had to take off his shoes at an airport when his plane was unexpectedly diverted. He said on that same trip, Senator Irene Sandyford Garner and his personal assistant were even taken to a room and frisked by security.
Life is about hassle. There's no hassle-free anything in life. So, I don't know what is meant generally by hassle-free travel.
The Prime Minister said Barbados will continue to abide by the CCJ ruling, but reiterated that this island's national security will never be compromised. Dale Ford, reporting for CBC News.
A local business entity has made a pitch to government to manufacture buses for the Transport Board. According to Minister of Transport Michael Lashley, the offer was made only last Friday.
Since Friday, I received an offer from a local manufacturer who has a desire to provide Transport Board with some local buses. Now, to me, that will be a good thing for local industry. It will help and assist in employment in that same company. But I have not made a decision yet because, of course, I have to look at the terms and conditions and the prices, and of course, it will have to be done in a transparent way.
Minister Lashley has welcomed the opportunity, noting that it would ultimately benefit Barbados.
But I certainly would support a local manufacturer who intends to deliver buses to the transport board. To me, that is a way of keeping jobs, and that is a way of keeping a business in these recessionary times afloat. And we must support saving foreign exchange.
The opposition Barbados Labour Party is convinced that government is under serious financial pressure, and it says this administration could soon find itself struggling to service its debts, pay wages and meet pensions. Shane Seeley has the story.
In a relentless attack on the economic performance of the Frondell Stewart administration, opposition leader Mia Motley told supporters why the Barbados Labour Party hierarchy is extremely concerned about government's current financial position. During last night's BLP meeting at the Dighton Griffith Secondary School, Ms. Motley contended that government will soon have a hard time paying its bills. Why? Well, according to her, there's a $500 million hole that needs to be filled, and she says that's just the beginning.
What will be in store if they do not get that money is their choices in relation to whether they can pay wages, pay pensions, or indeed service debt. And what do I mean? 2 seconds. The government of Barbados in this year will have to pay between interest and principal in debt almost $1.2 billion. The government of Barbados will have to add to that $870 million in wages in central government.
Meanwhile, Barbados Labour Party economic advisor Clyde Maskell expressed serious concern about a recent bond withdrawal from the international market and the possible implications the move will have for Barbados.
In the short run, the government is going to have to find money from some source to pay the workers and to pay for the goods and services it uses. Already, the commercial banks have determined that they do not want to buy any more government securities because they are worried. And the reason why they are worried, people, is because if we continue on this current track that we are on, the future will be exceedingly difficult.
As a result, the opposition leader has sent out a call to party supporters to ready themselves, saying it's time for action. Shane Seeley, CBC News.
Local biscuit company Wabisco celebrated its 103rd anniversary by giving thanks at a special service this morning. Kish Marcinjus was there and he filed this report.
It was a morning of worship at the Wabisco Tabernacle as the company praised God and staff on reaching 103. Songs were sung and prayers read as staff, past and present, gathered for a service and appreciation ceremony. Minister of Industry Donald Innes welcomed the company's participation at a recent trade mission to Brazil and a recent expo in Germany. He assured them that his ministry is continuing to search for new markets for the island's products.
We certainly recognize that Brazil, Panama, and certainly other parts of Latin and South America offer that opportunity for products such as yours to venture into. And we stand ready to walk side by side with Wabisco in going into that market as well.
Mr. Innes says Wabisco has done well over the 103 years and its products have served Barbados well.
All of us know very well the importance of a pack of biscuit and a tin of sardines, the corned beef or whatever you had. But whatever meat or whatever came from a can, it was always augmented by the fact that you had biscuits there to go with it. And it's not a poor man's food, don't get it wrong. In the heights and the parks and terraces and Sandy Lane, etc., it is indeed a delicacy. It's Bajan for crackers to say. The truth of the matter is that you have had a distinct product that have served this country and many families well over the years.
Export manager Lisa Murray too believes that Wabisco has much to be thankful for.
This is a time when we get an opportunity to celebrate Wabisco, celebrate the number of years that we've been in existence, celebrate the fact that Wabisco is a company that continues to strive and continues to be successful despite all that is happening in our current environment.
Staff was also recognized for their years of service. Those in for awards were staff who were with the company for 30, 25, 15, and 10 years. Some 60 staff members were recognized for 10 years of service. Kishmar St-Gis, CBC News.
General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, Sarai Trotman, wants Labour Minister Senator Dr. Estebar Suku to investigate the rising number of cases of inhumane treatment by employers.
Reports are that after more than 6 months of doing nothing, some employers are bullying staff into signing contracts, some of which deny rights, benefits, and privileges previously enjoyed by workers.
Sarai was speaking at the 6th Annual Regional Youth Seminar under the theme Empowering the Youth to Cross Boundaries of Labor Movement. He said there's been an increase in employers being disrespectful, having their employees working under bad conditions.
With every passing day, we are getting closer and closer to the days of the slave trade. Human slavery at the workplace.
The issue of wastewater management has to move from discussion to implementation. That assertion from Minister of Water Resource Management, Dr. David Estwick, as he addressed the closing ceremony of the 22nd Annual Caribbean Water and Wastewater Association Conference. Dale Ford has more.
Dr. Estwick said a wastewater service should be provided at an optimal fee. He noted that it calls for advanced treatment technology, adding that any investment should at least recover part or all of the capital costs.
In the Caribbean, the vast majority of municipal wastewater facilities are publicly owned and operated. The role of the private sector should, however, be expanded and with management contracts, concessions, and other forms of incentives which will encourage the private sector participation in wastewater management. And the cost of the design, construction, and operation of wastewater treatment facilities is high, and this is usually borne by governments.
The minister said, faced with limited financial resources, Barbados has to find the most viable solution when setting up its treatment facility.
Here in Barbados, we have to identify sources of financing for our proposed West Coast sewage treatment system. Any financing must be structured so that it does not significantly contribute to our debt to GDP ratio and to be a significant burden to the taxpayers.
Last evening's event also included an award ceremony. Dale Ford for CBC News.
Behavior change can greatly reduce the prevalence of most of the chronic health conditions in Barbados. This suggestion from Senior Medical Officer with the Ministry of Health, Dr. Kenneth George. Dr. George says of the top 10 countries in Latin America and the Caribbean reporting high mortality due to NCDs, Barbados stands at number 3. He was addressing a seminar hosted by the St. Thomas Parish Church at the Amaryllis Hotel.
Many of you would wish to care for the elderly with, for example, dementia or persons who have physical disability. But the burden of care can sometimes be overwhelming for the individual. Indeed, a significant physical and mental repercussions that go along with caregiving role are only now being well recognized. The government of Barbados is committed to providing and maintaining a safe environment and high standards of service in support of caregivers.
Last Friday was World Egg Day, and as part of the celebrations, Eggy visited the Lawrence Tigay Primary School. Each Class 1 student received a 6-pack crate of eggs and was told about the benefits of eggs in their diet. Also at the presentation was Vice President of the Egg and Poultry Producers Association, Stephen Lane. Meanwhile, CEO of Starchick, Wendell Clark, was on hand to speak to the children about the importance of eggs.
when I was small, like yourself, my mother made sure that I have at least an egg every morning for breakfast. And we want to encourage you to tell your mother that you need an egg every morning for breakfast, because it helps you to learn. So when your teacher's teaching you, you can remember what they're teaching you. So you will get more of your sums right, and you remember what the teacher said. So remember, this the purpose of egg, you have choline, which is very important for memory. And we want you to make sure that you consistently get at least one egg a day.